everybody, and welcome back to another lecture. As we agreed before, and I had my presentation on employee well-being and work and life balance. You were required to do an essay, and we did not have enough time to make this discussion. And today I am going to answer all of your questions that you have regarding this topic and on how I may help you.
If you want to do a bit of a summary for the students that weren't in the first class.
Okay. Okay. So let's start by making a summary because maybe not all of them well were there. So first of all, we will discuss on what is employee well-being. Employee well-being refers to the overall state of health, happiness, and satisfaction of individuals within the workplace. So basically, employee well-being is what we call the uh, overall state and what we call in a general information about employees in the workplace. So their satisfaction, their performance, their mental health, their motivation, and etc. are all related to the employee well-being and what is referred to the employee well-being in a workplace. Why the employee well-being is very important, we already may know, as this also is related to the company success, to the individual success. So if we invest on the employee well-being, we are also investing on our company. It is very important that we have good employees and motivated employees that come to work in our company or corporate or school or every workplace environment, because if they are motivated, then they also want their performance and their satisfaction on job will be also higher. What are some of the key components of employee well-being? Physical health is the first and refers to the employee physical well-being, encompassing factors such as nutrition, exercise, sleep, and access to the healthcare. Usually organizations promote healthcare, or they try to offer healthcare services for their employees or be divided half to half. So this is also like reward for their employees. Secondly, mental and emotional well-being. Third, work-life balance, job satisfaction, social support, financial well-being, career development, and organizational culture. These are some of the key components when we refer to employee well-being. They are all related to the individual well-being as a whole, let's say, as a whole point to it, because we have the mental and emotional well-being, we have the work-life balance, we have the job satisfaction, the social support, their performance, and an inclusive culture and organizational culture within the company. What is work-life balance? Work-life balance refers to the harmonious distribution of time and energy between one's professional responsibilities and personal well-being. It involves effectively managing work-related demands such as tasks and deadlines, while also allocating time for activities that promote physical health, mental relaxation and meaningful connections with family, friends, and personal interest. Striking the equilibrium between work and personal life is essential for maintaining overall well being, reducing stress, and fostering productivity and satisfaction in both of them. So, basically, what is work life balance? After we talked about employee well being and in general individual well-being, when we talk about well-being is referred to everything that we do in our daily life, so not only our mental or emotional well-being, but in overall all the things that we try to do in our life. As adults and as professionals, it is very important that we are successful in our job, have a high performance so we can have a healthy and wealthy lifestyle. But it is also important to find like a balance between working and other things in life, because we also need to rest. We also need to find time about ourselves to do also other things except of work. As we try to only keep going in work and not finding time to just maybe relax, this will bring employees and individuals to a burnout or to procrastinate, because they're always doing the same things and they are not finding this balance. So you go to work and then you just also try to find some minutes about yourself. This may be hard, but if you try to find the equilibrium between the two words, this will help the individual increase their development in success, in motivation, in self esteem, confidence, and then in job satisfaction and also in their performance. Because they will be like more calm, more creative. All of the things are related to each other. Are some of the benefits of employee well-being? Is enhanced performance, so more good performance and more motivated to the work, and reduced stress and burnout. And some of the benefits of finding a work-life balance is to increase job satisfaction and retention and loyalty. So basically, what we see uh, with the key components and with the benefits, they're all related to motivation, to job performance, to job satisfaction, reducing stress, reducing burnout, and also loyalty and retention of having like the same employees within the years. And this also help you to have like a balance and be more calm, because you know that these employees are satisfied and they will also work to keep this company successful. What are some strategies for promoting employee well-being? This may be strategies used by managers or CEOs or supervisors. And there are flexible work arrangements. In flexible work arrangements, it's not that you should always use, but you can use in some moments that is also very needy about your employees, when you see that they need sometimes to have like flexible or hybrid work. You try to make this for them, so you reduce their stress and you reduce their burnout in the workplace, because this will also help him to be more productive in the upcoming projects. Another thing may be wellness programs and initiatives, mental health support, which is very important. I think that nowadays it's very important that corporates, companies, and also other institutions have some mental health professionals in their departments. This will help uh, employees very much, because they can use like tests, they can do mental health support, and other stuff, and also encouraging breaks and vacations. Implementing work-life balance initiatives. Some of effective approaches to implementing work-life balance initiatives are setting clear boundaries. For example, you tell your employees since the beginning that these are some of the requirements that we have and these are some boundaries. And you also want to ask them what are their boundaries. In this moment is the first initiative that you are getting the step of creating a work-life balance and also employee well-being, because your employees, you have the requirements and they hear you, but they also want to be heard. So this is very important. Time management techniques. Time management is very efficient and is like a key factor in every place. If you don't uh, know, or if you are not capable of managing time, then all of the things will be a disaster. Remote work policies. Remote work is very popular nowadays, or hybrid work. And when you see that it may be like a good step also for your employee well-being, also for your company. You can do like hybrid, like 3 days, not fully remote, but maybe 3 days at the office, 2 days at home, or the opposite, depending on what kind of policies. But if you try to also make this policy, then when reading the contract, the employee will see that you have some changes also as the way of working is going right now. So not only the traditional work, and some family friendly policies. It's also a good thing to have some family friendly policies in the contract, or in some cases that are different and difficult for employees, because things happen, but when you show that you are there for them and you understand them in a way that it's good for both parties, not only one. And here we have an overview slide. Uh, so, prioritizing mental well-being and work-life balance leads to increased employee productivity. When employees are mentally healthy and have a balanced work-life routine, they can focus more effectively on tasks, resulting to improved efficiency and output. Secondly, reduced stress and burnout. Supporting mental well-being and work-life balance mitigates workplace stress and reduces the risk of burnout. This proactive approach creates a healthier and more sustainable work environment where employees are better equipped to manage challenges. Improved employee morale. Organizations that value mental well-being and work-life balance create a positive atmosphere. This leads to higher employee morale, increased job satisfaction, and a sense of belonging, fostering a more engaged and motivated workforce. Talent attraction and retention. Companies that prioritize mental well-being and work-life balance attract top talent and retain experienced employees. Candidates and staff seek environments that support their overall well-being, enhancing the organizational reputation. A rested mind is more capable of generating creative solutions and innovative ideas. So this helps also in creativity. When employees have time to recharge outside of work, they bring fresh perspectives and insights to their roles. And finally, balancing mental well-being and work-life balance is a long-term investment in an organizational success. So finding the equilibrium between both, it's not done like uh, in the night or in 2 days, but it requires a lot of time, research, experiments, interviews, and other stuff. A workforce that is mentally well and has a healthy work-life balance is more likely to be resilient, adaptive, and committed to achieving the organizational goals. So this was an overview of what uh, we had also discussed previously. So now I'm here for all of your questions and to help you with everything and discussing everything that you may have.
Thank you, Silvana. If any of you have a question, you can use the hand reaction to raise a question or leave a comment in the chat. For example, I have a question here in the chat
Mm-hmm. Okay.
from Ousmane Sambu. He says, I am in Senegal, but sometimes bosses don't have skills of management. So teachers are usually discouraged. What do you propose us to avoid conflicts?
Um, so to avoid conflict, I know that these things also happen many times, and to avoid conflict, I would say that a lot of research needs to be done, and this research needs, or the conflict or the discussion needs to be with arguments, because when you have like arguments, you can also communicate to the other, and they can be more um, sure about what you are saying to them in terms of changing things, or in terms of trying to find a solution that is good for both, like bosses and companies and employees and managers. So my advice would be only to research the best points to bring on table, so the other can say, okay, maybe I can change this thing because it's good to be done.
I have another question in the chat from Sarah Rawal.
Mhm.
Uh, she says, how can we find employee difficulties?
How can they find out what the employees are facing, what kind of difficulties are employee facing?
Yes, yes.
Mhm. Okay. I think that this is mostly, but not overall, a part of the managers or the HR department. Usually, the HR department has a lot of managers, of HR assistants, and maybe sometimes also organizational psychologists or other mental health support professionals. I think that if the employee is facing some difficulties regarding the job or their life, uh, this will be seen in their performance, in their work performance. And let's say in a corporate, each department has its own manager, and by the employee performance, you can check if they are facing difficulties, um, or by their behavior with the other colleagues, maybe one. So these are some of the strategies how you can manage to find out if they are facing difficulties. And then you may ask them if this is something related to the job, and how you can, or what you can make to improve that, or if this is something related to something else, and also then you find a solution on how to help them.
Thank you, Silvana. We have a few more questions in the chat, and then we can go ahead to the hand raised question. So
Mhm.
from Victoria, she says, what I do if my boss underpaid me and overused me for work for long hours?
um, okay. I think that I mentioned in the part of um, of my presentation that one of the key components or factors or initiatives on improving employee well-being is also setting boundaries, not only from the company, but also from the employees. So I think it's very important to start setting boundaries and telling the manager or the boss that I'm until here, or starting to communicate the things as they are. If it's a busy season and you are required to work overtime, then after this finishes or before this finishes, you go to your boss and tell them how much is this going to go, and will I have any benefits from this? And in terms of, if you don't find like the right balance, or if you don't hear what you need to hear, then you tell, okay, then you decide what you will do, because you bring to the table all of the arguments that you have or all of the boundaries that you have, and you also hear from the other what they have to say. After hearing and seeing if there is nothing to collaborate or to negotiate, then you give the decision on what should be done.
Thank you. From Nelil, we have another written question. And she said, how can an employee be able to express their concern if they are being overly worked, yet they are not being paid for the extra time they worked?
Um, sorry, once again, the employees are uh, working overload, but they are not being paid, you said?
And how they can express their concerns?
Hmm. They can write a report, or they can write a letter to the HR department expressing their concerns, expressing some suggestions on how this should be arranged. So I think that is mostly uh, these terms are mostly discussed with the HR department of each company or corporate.
Okay, let's go ahead with the hand raised questions. Let's see what Chris has to say.
Yes.
Yeah, good morning from US, and my name is Chris.
Good
Uh,
morning.
I I want to ask a question and contribute in a sense of what you are uh, talking about. The first thing is that uh, concerning two employees in the same company, like one is ahead of one and one is working on the direct manager, and yet the, the, the other employee and the manager are not in good terms. What should happen in case they are working hand in hand, that the right thing should be done? I observe something. It's like there will be massive mistakes that will be done because they don't communicate with each other, and the two of them have to do the same work together as they are not in good terms. Psychologically, I think the work may not be effective anymore as it was, because and most of the time they have to communicate with the third person who ordered whatever they have to do, and the other person will present differently, the other person will present differently. What effect is it going to have on the company's growth? Psychologically, that's what I want to know. Is it going to make the company grow, or is going to totally destroy the company or have its effect on the company. Such a people, what can you do to prevent them from destroying the company? Do you need to call them before the HR, or do you need to talk to them personally, or you need to sack them? That is my question.
In these cases, I think that, as I said, communication is the key, and setting boundaries, and also um, trying to see what's wrong. And if you think that something is wrong within the company, in this case, then you can talk with the HR department, because they will be like responsible for human resources, for employee well-being, for employee performance. So I think that one of the best things is to talk to the HR and see how the things then will go. But also when going to talk with them, it's very important that you have like all of your research done, all of your arguments, all of information given to them. So, and then it's time to decide from their part. But I think that HR focuses and plays a really crucial role in between finding the balance between the company and the employees. It's
Okay,
like the
so
bridge. So
yeah, so this has been handled many times, but yet it keeps repeating. And unfortunately, it happens between supervisor and manager.
yeah. Yeah, I understand that not all the times um, we will face people doing their job properly, but in this
So,
case, we just need to tell also another person that it's in the proper position to change that, because
okay.
this is the way that we can help in
I
finding.
was suggesting one should be removed or
Mhm.
sacked and or change of department. That will help. And if it happens that he's doing the same thing in the other department, then he need to be laid off for uh, the name of the company's sake, because you can never uh, allow one person to bring a huge damage on the company. Do you think psychologically the writing is that way, or is the way to go by it? If it is the way to go, so that you can save the company and the integrity of the company.
Sorry, I didn't realize.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that for the integrity of the company and then for the brand of the company, what about if you lay one off or change a department of the one that is generating such a behavior?
Mhm.
And if it doesn't help, it need to be laid off. Do I make the right decision, or I'm too harsh? And we need to consider the
No,
side effect.
if you have considered all of the strategies, and you think that is best if you think that the last decision is best to fire this person, that is the best decision. After you have agreed and after you have considered all of the strategies, I mean.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Let's see what Masato has to say.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Okay. So mine was actually similar to the previous question that came, so it has covered most of what I intended to ask. But I'll still need a couple of clarification. Let's say I'm running a business company, so that company is strictly operating on profits. So I have those workers who, at some point, they are starting to show that their morale is going, they are demotivated, and do I still have to wait and then go through all those processes while the company is making losses? Because then I'm minding that there are also some workers who are motivated and they are putting everything into the production of the company. And then those people will be hindered because the company will be not making enough profits to get them paid. So do I have to go through all those processes again, or it will be lightful so that I don't spoil the lives of these other workers that are motivated? I just let these ones go and put in new talents or others that are motivated and they will be able to perform.
Basically, your question was, do you need only to invest in the people that are motivated, or search for new talents, or? Hello?
Hello, I muted myself so I couldn't unmute.
Yes.
Yeah, that's basically what I want to know. Like, okay, now it's a business company, it's not an organization which is not profitable, but this one is strictly operating on profits, and then it will need everyone there at the workplace to be dedicated so that they all know that we are working towards one goal and we are getting paid upon the completion of our tasks and our sales. And then there are other people that are dragging the teams down. Do we need to like be there, abide by them, let them be there, pull the team down, and like let everyone suffer? Or I should just focus on the people that are performing, and then we make business, we make profits, so the company grows as well, and the people that are dedicated.
Okay. So in these terms, I think that it depends on the job performance. So these persons that now are not performing so well, you need to see also their let's see performance before. If they performed before good and now they don't perform good, you should ask them if this is only a phase or they don't want to work anymore. And in these terms, you will understand if they will work or if they don't will if they won't work with you. And then you make a decision to keep them or to fire them, because maybe it's just like a phase that they need to relax, or they need another policy because they are too stressed or something else happened, or they just want to change. If you understand that they don't want to work anymore or they are not motivated to work for you, then it's better for you to hire somebody else, because he will be more motivated, and go on with the others that are more motivated. If you think that it is only a phase that they are going, you help them. If you think that it's a good employee, and you help them to be more motivated and creative, so he can develop the performance that he had before and increase their job satisfaction also.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you also.
Okay, we have another question from Obafemi. Let's see what they have to say. Sorry, we can't hear you. You can also write the question in the chat if you have connectivity issues. So let's see what Herbert has to say. In the meantime, Obafemi writes his question.
Mhm.
Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. Hello.
Yes, hello, we can hear you.
Okay. This is Herbert Subuga from Uganda.
Hello.
I have a challenge with the network, but let me hope you hear me. Are you hearing me?
Sorry?
Are you hearing me, please?
Yes, we are hearing you.
Okay. So now I have basically in my country we have a challenge between the administrators or the managers and the company owners. Sometimes you may, especially the human manager, you may need personnel who are qualified, who have skills, but because the company owners want to pay little money, you end up getting people who are not qualified, people who don't have skills. So I wonder, let me say, if I'm an administrator and maybe I'm a human resource manager, how I can be advised, because this sometimes causes loss to the company. You get unskilled people because that is what the company owners want, and and at the end of that day, the company makes losses. So I wonder how I can be advised. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your question. I realized that your question was more about how the managers can express their companies that they need to invest in order to take to invest money and to pay in order uh, to have skilled employees, because this will bring success in their company. Basically, I think that they may come out with a plan or a strategic plan, and analyzing all of the benefits that the company will have and will receive if they invest in their employees and if they pay their employees the right amount of money. This is like maybe the way, and also show the statistics, um, the benefits, the success, and other things, like not only from today to tomorrow, but like a strategic plan for 2 years or 4 years, and what the company will achieve. I think that this is one of the best ways on how you can make them realize the benefits.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, let's go ahead with the written questions. For example, Charles says, in summary, what are the processes to employee well-being and work-life planning, and how do we evaluate the success of such plans?
Um, okay, to the employee well-being, I think that it depends from company to company. There are some things that the HR department before starting the talent sourcing and before starting on hiring people should have like some requirements, and also listed to them all of the benefits that the employees will have while doing the contract with this company, that may require some um, flexible work uh, times, that may require some I don't know, paid uh, holidays, or some mental health support, or physical exercise, paid physical exercise, hybrid work. So it depends from company to company. On how to evaluate this success is by interviewing also candidates, not only when they are hired, but also before they are hired. So usually when you go to an interview, you are asked what are your expectations, what are your boundaries, what you want to learn from us, or what you expect working from us. So these are all key points on starting initiatives on well-being strategies. And then later on evaluating the success of what you have implemented.
Thank you. From Obafemi Kenshiro, um, what's the best strategy to adopt on a personal basis to ensure you avoid burnout when your organization just won't adopt any employee well-being or work balance policies?
Sorry, can you read once again?
Okay, what's the best strategy to adopt on a personal basis to ensure you avoid burnout when your organization just won't adopt any employee well-being or work balance policies?
Okay, so the first one is, since you start working, is to set boundaries with your company, so they know on what you expect from them. And then on personal basis, to not go on burnout, I would suggest making also other activities except of work or out of work, like going to gym, like going for a walk, or as soon as you have some holidays, maybe go on a trip. So things that also help you find this balance between your work and the job, or help you reduce stress, spending time with friends or other activities. So keeping yourself occupied also outside of work, not only occupied with activities that make you happy or reduce stress and keep you motivated, increase self-esteem, and so on.
Thank you. From Eli Bariki, they say, on the issue of implementing work-life balance, how best a young parent can balance time in regards to the enhancing productivity, talent attraction, enhancing creativity, innovation, making office sustainable, and at the same time keep a happy family, including reducing the stress.
Okay. I believe that is very stressful when you become a parent, because it's a new world coming into your world. So finding this balance in this period is very stressful. In my presentation into the work-life balance, I had mentioned that there are some remote job policies and some family-friendly policies. So in the work, when you try to become a parent, or when you realize you will become a parent and then you will take your parental leave, or you can also ask the HR department, do we have any family policies, family friendly policies, or remote work policies that will apply in this moment, in this period, because I need to know. And then I need to see how I will implement my new life into my previously life. These are some of the ways, by communicating and by asking if there are such policies, it may help you a lot on reducing stress and finding the balance between your work and your life and the family, of course.
Thank you. So let's go ahead with the handwritten questions. Let's see what Asuko has to say.
Okay, or they can also write down. So
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. Am I heard?
Yes.
All right. So thank you very much for the wonderful presentation, Silvana, and thank you, Clara, for being the host. We are discussing employee well-being and work balance, and I want to say that I'm calling from Nigeria. I'm a banker in one of the leading financial institutions in the country. My company actually gives us time for vacation, motivators, staff are really, really well motivated. But the point is that right after the COVID outbreak, a lot of our processes have been digitized, and it's work on the go 24/7, if I must put it that way. I appreciate what you said about setting boundaries at work and taking vacation, love your job and the family, etc. But I want to paint a very practical scenario here. In my organization, right from my CEO to the executive directors, etc., we don't keep work till the following day. Meaning that sometimes by 10 p.m., 11 p.m. in the evening, the CEO or one of the executive directors can decide to quickly use 10, 15, 20 minutes to do some approvals, okay? And then, so that has become like a new DNA for us, a new art of work. It's very appealing, everybody enjoys it. It's work on the go because we want to serve our customers and we don't want to keep work to the following day. However, sometimes it might just be like that 10, 15 minutes you want to use maybe on a Saturday, maybe on a Sunday. Your spouse might probably have some reservation and things like that, But when you see your bosses at the upper echelon of the ladder doing that, enjoying the work, it's like a message being passed to everybody. We must serve our customers. We must defend our market share. We must grow the business, etc. Improve on the P&L and things like that. So you are rather part of it, but you are not limited in terms of approval for a vacation and any other staff morale. It's a very good organization. So how do I balance this in terms of once in a while, my spouse can like complain and say, oh, this is a weekend, this is a Sunday, this is a Saturday. But the point is that the CEO is doing it. And we are well paid, well motivated, and things like that. So how do I reconcile that? Thank you very much. Any advice on this?
Sorry, so your question, can you repeat? So how can you?
How do I reconcile maybe sometimes a little complaint from my spouse that, how are you still using 15, 20, 30 minutes to work on a weekend, a Saturday or a Sunday, approve some things, online, stuff like that. And since my bosses do that, okay, and that is now part of the work ethic. We don't complain about it because we enjoy it. But sometimes you might have your spouse complain, this is a Sunday, why are you putting in 30 minutes on a Sunday or on a Saturday, to the work? So how do I be able to balance, doing this that I love? And an example has been set by your CEO, your executive director. So you are bound to actually, do same. And you are well motivated, well paid. And of course, your approvals vacation is not limited or hindered in any way. So how can I get my spouse to just like understand and be flexible that, this is a new way of work, and yeah. I hope you got my question. Hello? Hello? Can you hear me, Clara or Silvana?
We can hear, but since we lost Silvana, let's wait for her.
Okay. But did you get my question, Clara?
Sorry? Yes.
Did you get my concern?
Your question was, how would you like to address some of the complaints that you have?
That my spouse have.
that may be against like what you have said on the first place.
Yes, that might be against putting in some 30, 45 minutes, probably on a Saturday or a Sunday, online to quickly do some work and then go back to family. Because a precedent has been set by the CEO and the executive directors. And however, they make the environment work friendly, approve your vacation, pay your bonuses, and
Yes,
it's a
but
very, very good.
sometimes they may happen that you can have like some work to do on your vacation, you mean?
Maybe like a weekend, a Saturday or a Sunday, just put in 30, 45 minutes, do some work online and go back to family.
Yes. Okay, yes, I understood. Yes, this was similar to a question before. So basically, I would say that the important thing or how you can address this by communicating if the actual situation may be happening also another time or is just for now because this is like an urgent happening project. So you just communicate to them and you see what is their answer. If they say that is an urgent thing, of course they will do, and then you will ask for your leave another time, or you will see what the negotiation can be. If it's not something urgent and this happens like plenty of times and you don't see like the benefits, that you need to address by writing a letter to the HR and stuff like this. I think that this is like the best way.
All right, thank you very much. And please, we will appreciate if you can have this slide. Some of us joined a bit late because of work exigency and the time zone. So we appreciate if the slide can be circulated. It will help a great deal. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let's see what Dr. Caleb has to say.
Hello, good evening, this morning.
Hello.
I'm grateful for this presentation, and actually it is timely. I have to let the management know that they are also employees of the company. And then they are also the source of most of the challenges the company goes through. And most of them, they sit in the position that they are perfect and their work is to wait for people to do mistakes and then they punish them. Human resource is an asset to a company, which needs to be developed, needs to be given skills, and it needs to be allowed to give suggestions on how they'll be able to do some things, because most of the challenges we face is that the management implements some regulations or some aspects without consulting the users of the equipments and even actually trying to find out if the new equipments they have bought or machinery or the new softwares, the workers are able to handle them effectively because they have been trained. So I think training and allowing the workers to be able to say what is affecting them and how they will wish it done is more important. But what I want to put across is that most managers I've worked with, they think that they are all knowing, they are perfect, and therefore they don't even listen to what is being said. Because if a company was doing well, all of a sudden it starts having some challenges. then the manager or the human resource management must ask themselves where they have also gone wrong, because they could be the problem. Thank you very much for the wonderful presentation.
Thank you also for what you shared with us. I think it is very true because so as I said also in during the presentation, before when you interview someone, when you interview employees, it is important that you tell them the requirements, but it's also important to ask them what they expect from the company, what are their boundaries, what are their the things that they will bring to the company. In this way, you will also have some strategies to use into this employee performance and employee satisfactions later. Because if you don't ask them, if you don't listen to them, then you don't know how or what approach you should use to help them develop also themselves, or to be more creative, or to have higher performance, or to have like job satisfaction. So this was my suggestion, that also it's the job of the managers to understand on which approach that they should use on the employees, because this is how they will develop employee well-being, employee performance, and job satisfaction in the workplace.
Thank you very much. I'm grateful for your response.
Thank you also.
See what Dr. Rafael has to say.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon from Nigeria here. I just want to quickly, ask this question and say the kind of advice that you can proffer to me. Just like my brother from Nigeria just said a while ago, and in fact, I really envied, his organization, because according to him, he said that, his organization pay for his holidays, after work, and they paid him handsomely. I work in the healthcare industry, and at the same time, I am also a lecturer in tertiary institution here in Nigeria. Initially, I do have some kind of lecture series in West African countries close by to Nigeria, but later I stopped. Now, in the organization where I worked, contrary to what my brother said earlier on, that they have so many things, they pay them handsomely, and where we are not being paid, as expected, in the healthcare industry. And also the enormous work given, apart from working in the hospital, also there's some administrative works that, you are being given, to handle, which is so enormous. And of course, I believe that, the ratio, of health worker to patient in Nigeria is very, very poor. And also, I'm still trying to see how I'm going to still cope to do some kind of lecturing work in order to keep the soul and body and soul together, and to care for my family. So what's, kind of advice can you offer me in the area of this mental health we're actually talking about, in order for me to be able to balance up, both at workplace and within my family? Thank you very much.
As I said before, this is also, I know that it's difficult to find this balance. And as I said, sometimes we need to leave the things of work at work, and try to, when we are at home or when we are off work, try to make activities that make us happy, and maybe spend time with your family, and or go for a walk or other activities that you find to reduce stress. So this is my my answer. To find little things that help you into this, into finding this balance. And sometimes it's better that when we finish work, we leave work there until next day.
Thank you, Silvana. Let's see what Udo has to say, and let's make this the last question for the session.
Okay.
Good evening from Burundi.
Good
Thank you
evening.
very much for this opportunity, and thank you for this topic. I was part of the first one, and so I was very excited to see that we were continuing on it, because I believe that it's one topic that affects everybody, really, you know, achieving the work-life balance. I want to make a contribution, actually, and this is particularly as relates to the question that my brother Asuko Ita asked from Nigeria. With respect to, you know, balancing family, you know, the spouse's perspective of the work which you already enjoy and you know, and are well compensated for. I would like to suggest that you know, those it's good that you talk with your spouse about it, and let her see what the benefits are. In the banking sector, which I was a part of in one of the top institutions in Nigeria as well, you know, the demand is very high. There's so much that you need to protect and so much that you need to put in. But then if you're having an assignment on your, you know, a banking assignment that you're attending to, I think it would be good if you can communicate, because both myself and my spouse were bankers at a point. So you know, just drawing from our own experience, if you would let your spouse know, for instance, that this is the time I'm starting this work, and then this is when it's over, and these are the benefits that we get, so that, you know, she is fully in on it. And then you can ask her, so what would you rather that we trade off? And then it would also help if you do, you know, you have a date night with your spouse where you are giving her just that attention to herself. Then she'll be more willing to allow you to to make attention for what you know is important and that you enjoy, that has to do with your work. And so, because, you know, that's the home part of it. If the home aspect is not balanced, then we have more pressure with the work-life balance as relates to our jobs. And then generally speaking, the issue of boundaries, while it's such a beautiful concept, is a bit tricky in third world countries, particularly where the perspective is that from the employer's standpoint, that there are lots of people who do not have employment that's, you know, perhaps can do the same work that you're doing or better, you know. So
Yeah.
it puts a lot of pressure on the employees. I think that something that could help is for us to have our individual goals. So I want to talk about it on the two sides. The first side being on the employee side, because this topic actually focuses on the employee over, you know, the employee's lifestyle and well-being. So on the employee side, I would like to encourage that you understand what your personal goals are. Because if you understand what your personal goals are, then you can now begin to draw boundaries. and say, okay, overall in my life, this is my work goal, this is my family goal, this is my, mental health goal, whatever goals that you have personally. You can do some research using tools online to discover more about yourself. Because if you are at peace with yourself, understanding what your limits are, then it would enable you to make better choices that affect everyone else that you're working with, everyone else that you're living with. And so I would suggest that on the employee's side, you understand yourself and understand what your own personal boundaries are. And then the second thing is to improve yourself, because if you improve your value, take extra courses. Like, I think that's the beautiful thing with our school here, Atlantic International University. We have flexible programs and a whole range of programs. So as you improve yourself, you can notify your organization that you have improved yourself in this level and in that level. So by the time you start notifying them of how you're making improvements on your personal self and showing more diligence to your work, then you can attract then you'd even build the confidence and also open doors for interaction, for better negotiation with your workplace, to say, this is what I have achieved, and this is what I would like as compensation, or these are the boundaries I would like to be set as relates to my work. But you cannot make boundaries easily in Africa or in places where there's a lot of employee disadvantage, if I may put it that way, because of the number of unemployed people who are also
Yeah.
qualified, or equally or more qualified. Yes. So, but if you improve your own self, you take more courses, you understand what your personal goals are, then you can now begin to explore with wisdom what your boundaries are and what your options are for other places of mutual benefits, things like that. That's
Okay.
basically what I would
Thank
like
you
to
so
say.
much
Thank you
for
very
your
much.
contribution and for what you shared with us. It is also true that we talked about employee well-being and this from a company side, but I would like to suggest that is the duty of all of us as individuals to firstly know what we require while we start to apply for a job, and
Yes.
what we'll expect, and also what we will also give to the company. It is true that if we don't know ourselves as individuals, we cannot expect from others to know us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all of question. Thank you all of you for today that have been seeing this presentation. Thank you for hearing me, and